Hello, Knight Rider 7602 here, and judging from this picture, it looks like I'm doing the Twilight Saga. The story is about a girl named Bella Swan who moves to Forks, Washington, to be with her father, Charlie, who's a police officer. There at her new school, she meets a boy in her family named Edward Cullen and his cauldron of friends, or brother and sisters. Well, comes to find out, Bella really finds the truth out hard when she finds out that Edward and his family are all vampires who live over at nearly hundreds and thousands of years. And Edward is basically, in the beginning, is saying, like, they like each other. I mean, really, they do love each other. But each of the vampires have goodness or badness in them. So we meet three bad villains: Laurent, James, and Victoria. Who's kind of ironic, her hair is red hair, like a friend of mine I know, whose name is actually Victoria. I'm getting to that later. But, anywho, when worse comes to worse, James becomes a little hungry and wants to eat Bella, therefore leaving the main hero of this book, Edward Cullen, to save her. And, basically, we have issues, because when one of them's dead, there's bound to be two more of the main villains willing to kill. Now, basically, this picture is basically when, it's when Bella's in the lunchroom with Edward, and he kicks the apple up and catches it in his hands. I guess. I think that's both in the movie and... Oh yeah, that's what else I wanted to tell you about. I'm also doing this, and I'm going to be doing the part of the movies, where people, what my thoughts on the movie were. Yeah. And notice each of every title, sorry, that's my phone. Each of the titles has something to do with space itself, like Twilight. And here, sorry. And here we go to New Moon, the sequel to Twilight. Now, New Moon introduces new characters and a new breed of villain. We get introduced to shapeshifters before I get hate comments. I always say werewolves for some reason. Yes, Jacob Black is a shapeshifter, and so is his family. They're shapeshifters. They can change into wolves, which it doesn't really apply to the word shapeshifter, but who am I kidding? Well, also, Edward leaves Bella. I know, fangirls, cry your eyes out, but he has to go to Italy to, let's see. Oh yeah, to go to this organization known as the Volturi, who are vampires that lived over decades. They lived even before we were born, people. Each of them have different abilities, like, there's this cute little girl, right? And she has the ability to, when she stares at you, cause pain. Another one's super strong, can instantly freeze you. You move, you get broken into a billion pieces. Yeah. Now I'm gonna be saying this. Bella, you have to choose. Edward's like the red pill, and Jacob's the blue pill. Which to choose? You can't pick both men. I don't care how... I don't know what attracts you, but just choose one. Jeez. Alright, we're going into Eclipse now, which is the third installment of the book. Basically, vampires and werewolves, I think shapeshifters are still in it, and we get introduced to Victoria and her evilness. Now, the Colons and the Blacks are preparing to take down Victoria and her cauldron of newborn vampires. Now, Bella, as being a human here, really needs to stay out of danger. We are what we call her accident prone. Yeah, accident like she almost gets herself killed in nearly every book that comes to pass. Now, don't fret, Victoria is one of those vampires that I really do not like, because one, she's gonna go psycho female dog on us here, because she's basically like, you killed my boyfriend and I'm gonna kill you. Okay, look, chill. We didn't mean to kill the girlish looking vampire and the Jermaine Dupri, Bob Marley look-alike. But, I mean, geez, lady, just get over it. I mean, can you just have like a funeral? But no! You have to go take out vengeance. And who has to kick your butt? The main hero, of course, Edward Cullen. Yeah, this kind of does apply to my standards of you don't hit a girl. Well, if she's a vampire, that kind of will exempt from that. Though, it's kind of odd that the Eclipse is basically the second largest book for me to read in like a year. Because I read all of these books in like one year's time. I read Twilight in like a few months. I read this book in a few months. I even read New Moon in a few months. Yeah, it takes me a few months to read these things because I have school. But I'm really excited for a reason. I love vampires, I love werewolves, I love the never-ending struggle between these guys. That is gold. That is gold. And also, we lead up to the and I mean most, romantic piece ever is when Edward proposed to Bella. Fangirls squeal for that. Thank you. Alright, we're getting into the final book, Breaking Dawn. This is the longest book in the series. This nearly took me like a maximum of 3 to 2 months to finish. Now, this book features Edward and Bella's marriage. Now, the book is split up into 3 different parts. Edward's side of the story, Jacob's side of the story, and Bella's side of the story. What happens is, when Edward and Bella get married, they go to a honeymoon getaway, and they have sex. I mean, vampire mortal sex. Yeah, it got worse for Bella, because she got bruises, like, everywhere, and Edward... I'm just gonna go off my edge here being a perv, but, like, with Edward's super speed, I wonder how many times they did it. That's a good question. Afterwards, we find out Bella has a bun in the oven. For she has become half human, half vampire. Now, Jacob's side to this is, like, basically different. All his chapters are, like, pretty odd. Like, hurry up and start the darn fight already. And basically, it's Jacob's quest to, like, find true happiness, find another girl besides Bella that he will chase after. And finally, we get into Bella's side, where she turns from being this sweet, innocent little girl to going in absolute pain. She's a vampire now, and she is basically screaming her head off because this baby inside her is trying to get out. And once she gets out, the baby is born, named Renesmee. Now, Bella has a lot to learn about being a vampire, including being a vegetarian. Yes, vampires are vegetarian. So there are some veggie vampires. And Bella has super abilities. Like, she could create a shield around everybody. And this includes the final fight with the Volturi. And yes, Jacob and his friends join in the fray. Yeah, that's the best part of it. Reading the end of 756 pages. Oh yeah, I guess I'm done, but I got time left. So, I'm going to go over some of their powers. Edward can read minds. Like, read minds. Alice can see into the future. Jasper can read people's emotions, I believe. I'm pretty sure Bella has, like, an ability, like, the shield thing. Renesmee has a very high vocabulary for a 2-year-old. No, I'm dead serious. She's, like, how old? And she's, like, speaking like a 10th grader. She's like, but I am so awesomely smart, da 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 da. And, yeah, it's kind of odd. But actually, join me in part 2 where we go over our differences in book and movie form and discuss whether we believe that who they choose to be Edward and Bella should be right for each other. I am Knight Rider 7602 signing off. Ciao.